Speaker, House of Representatives Tajudeen Abbas has announced the withdrawal of the compulsory voting bill. The bill so amends the Electoral Act 2022 to make voting mandatory for all eligible Nigerians, was sponsored by the Speaker and co-sponsored by Representative Daniel Adama Ago. The bill withdrawal was disclosed in a statement on Monday by the Speaker's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Musa Abdullahi Krishi. According to him, the decision was to give room for further dialogue on the bill, which generated controversies. This withdrawal will allow time for further dialogue on how best to cultivate a culture of voluntary participation that honors both our democratic ideals and the rights of our citizens. ATN reports that in mid-May, a bill that sought to amend the Electoral Act 2022 to make voting mandatory for all eligible Nigerians passed second reading in the House of Representatives. Okay, according to what Tajudeen Abbas has stated, over controversies and all of that, when the bill was actually scaled second reading, there were lots of controversies over it, saying is the electoral process, has there been reform on our Nigerian electoral process in order to put this into law? And there were a few questions and analytical statements over it, and some would ask, what are the measures that have been put to know the number of people to accreditate, to be sure that, okay, these individuals haven't voted? Has there been machineries, has there been things that have been put in place to, know how to pick the culprits of this, refuse to abide by this law? By this decision by the House of Representatives to, withdraw this bill. I just want to get your thoughts on this. So what do you think, aside the controversies, do you think this was actually right for them to do so?
It is not right, because
So you're saying that the bill would have been left to be there?
Yes.
There should be mandatory voting for all Nigerians?
All Nigerians.
That's of eligible age of voting?
Yes.
Why did you say so, please?
Why I said so is because, you see, why do we have the national, whatever, what are they called? These people who check, who can't census, and the national population, whatever. We have them to get the figure and the number of persons who are citizens who are eligible, and citizens of social age and other. I don't know the one citing that youth are 70-something thousand, whatever. Now what I'm trying to say in essence is, why I said it's mandatory. It is for every citizen that is of age to have sense of belonging, if you ask me. Now, because of the incidents of last election, I know so many persons frowned at what happened, even if I was not the judge, even if I was not the INEC, whatever. But I know from what played last time, so many Nigerians on their own, even those who were abroad, came back to ensure that they did the right thing by voting whoever they feel was the right person. But I don't know what later happened. The thing did not play exactly the way it was supposed to be played. Now Nigerians became angry. So many persons went back that they are no longer going to come back. Some said they are not voting again. But if you are not voting, then we're not supposed to be doing an election anymore. We're supposed to say, okay, I'll bring one person. The person becomes our president. But why I said it shouldn't be that way is for everybody to have sense of belonging. And as far as you're of age, it is mandatory for you to vote and be voted for.
Part of the controversies and statements that were made over this was the votes that some individuals, like you referred to the 2023 election, did it actually count? So what is that possibility that when this vote is made mandatory, that it will still count? Because some have actually said too that there could be intentions or ulterior motive over this decision to pass this this bill into law for Nigerians to have mandatory voting. I made a statement over measures that have been put according to the national census you talked about, conducting necessary Let's look at the rural areas. Some individuals that live in remote villages, some of them, the old men, the old women, that about 90, 60, 80, they have eligible age of voting. So do you actually count that? How do you know that these individuals did not cast their vote in that sense? So that was most of the controversies that were listed out there.
You see why I said it should be mandatory, and I talked about, I didn't mention that. What I wanted to say is that Nigeria has not gotten to that level like that of America. You know, I was talking on that once here, where you can be at home within your own neighborhood.
Okay. Since you believe Nigeria hasn't gotten to that level of some countries and like crimes, why do you still think that the voting should be made mandatory?
Why I said should be made? You are a citizen. If there is anything that is to be given to people, would they exempt you because you are a citizen? No, they will give you. They will include you, and that's the area I'm looking at. But because of what played last time, I told you here, so many persons have decided that no, but I want it to be mandatory. Now those old men we're talking about, there should be a waiver. When I say waiver, for them, let there be a consent of somebody coming to meet with them. This body we mentioned, the whatever population, whatever, should bring a special body. That, because if you say they should take election to the house, the box to the house or whatever, they might snatch it on the road. That's where we found ourselves. But there should be a strategy in order for them to be voted. I mean, for these old men and women to be part of the voting. When I say they should be part of the voting, for their age, there should be a machine for that age bracket, age rank. There should be a machine for them that can be taken to their houses. We have. You
know, there are individuals that live in riverine areas.
We can go to them. We can go to them.
They barely have access.
Those people are the people who are even benefiting more than those who stays at the urban. I'm telling you, there are people who enjoy more. Because every skill acquisition, every empowerment they push to them. And why they push to them is not because they are poor. It's not because they live in those areas. They push to them because they are the people who deserves it. So if they deserve that thing, they should also be part and parcel of voting whoever they feel is their choice. So I'm saying that there should be a strategy for them if it is taking a particular machine to this rural area for this people to be part of
the same machine that in 2023 election had faulty malfunction.
It shouldn't be that one. That's why I said if we are upgrading, if we say we want to do this thing, let's also upgrade ourselves. Let's also upgrade the system, the voting system. It shouldn't be the usual card reader thing. We should have a machine where as you're voting, it's showing on the screen, see this person has voted, and your name will show that you have voted.
Oh well, we've gotten your thoughts on that. So you're in of the decision, you're of the part that the withdrawal of this mandatory voting bill shouldn't have, come into place. It should have been there in the right sense, because every citizen should have that right of voting.
And be voted for.
And be voted for.